What's up, Benchwarmers? We're here for a new episode of The Bench. My name is Diego. We're here with Eric, Eddie. Marco is kind of off camera, but he's still here with us, I promise. And we got actually two special guests today. One you've already met. We got Raphael and Andrew on the bench in the hot seat. A real quick shout out, first of all, for everyone that's following us. We're trying to get out and get people involved with Tech Ball. We have a very special video that's coming out. Thanks to everyone at Red Bull Arena that was able to make that match day happen. That video should be up for everyone to watch tomorrow. And we also want to make a shout out for Mortgage Express.
Hey, see.
You know,
Araujo.Mortgage Express, correct?
Hit me up.
If you need a mortgage and you change your life, you need to find somewhere to put your bench. Hit my man at Brazil.
making your home ownership dreams come true.
Right.
That being said, we got a pretty interesting episode for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of things United. So don't get don't get too salty. I know Eric was lining that up, so I'm gonna let him have it. I'm gonna let you have it. But to kind of open up the floor to our two guests here tonight, we'll start with Raphael wearing a very interesting combination of Red Bulls and Copa merch. How you feeling today, man?
I'm doing well, man.
Yeah?
Happy to be here again.
Again, nice.
Yeah.
We like that.
Man, appreciate that.
My pleasure.
You were talking about you just came from watching a pretty interesting film, right?
You just watched Joker.
You just watched
If
it?
you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. Very good movie.
We don't want to spoil it for anybody, but most of us in the studio have seen it, except for
The biggest Joker fan. Oh, and this guy.
and Andrew. Dang.
Who's also the Joker with the scar.
Yeah. Are you also a huge comic book fan?
I enjoy it. I wouldn't say I'm huge, but I do enjoy the movies a lot.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, definitely watch that movie, guys. Definitely have to watch that. It messes with your mind.
Nice. Andrew, we want to welcome you also, Andrew. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I've been a big follower recently, so I'm glad to be on the show now for first time.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah,
and speaking of followers, we want to remind everybody where they can catch us. Eddie.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts now.
Yep, Google Podcasts.
Stitcher,
Spotify,
wherever else you listen to podcasts at Benchwarmers FC.
And make sure you guys give us a like, comment, follow on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Benchwarmers FC1.
I'm gonna shout it out for Marco because Marco's giving me this look like, dang.
Oh, you can't talk right now. That's right.
Sorry, Marco.
Cool. I can't interrupt anymore.
Wait.
That was
So
the whole
you're
idea.
telling me we could talk shit about Real Madrid right now, and there's gonna be no comments?
There's gonna be no comments because
Technically, there will be because there's technically two fans.
I was going to say, I'll have Madrid's back.
if you do want to see any of our videos on our YouTube channel, especially Tech Ball, make sure you search up our channel by looking up Benchwarmers FC TV on YouTube. Also, if you want to drop us a line, you can hit us up at our email address, which is benched@benchwarmersfc.com. And when you get to any of our social media channels, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, make sure you follow, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let us know what you guys think. We want to hear from all of our listeners, like the two guys we have here on the bench. So the first thing I think we're going to open it up to is get a little bit of background from Andrew, because Raphael, you were here already. I don't want to overlook you, but you had your chance. I do want to point out Andrew's really sick garments today.
I'll give you respect, man.
I was geeking out about that a little bit, man.
First thing when he came in, the first thing I said, I'm like, yo, that jersey's fucking fire.
It's fire.
I'm not gonna front.
It's fire. So you want to tell us a little bit about that and then go into what you do, Andrew?
Yeah, so I was actually fortunate enough to purchase this jersey not too long ago. I got a couple of retro ones that I'm trying to build up. Trying to build all these awesome jerseys Man United has had over the year. My goal is to get from 2003 up because that's when I began my fanhood. I coach for a living, full-time, director of operations at the same club Coach Rafa's at Copa. Pretty good. I played there growing up from 14 years old until I went to college, and then I've come back to work now for the last 5 years. That's pretty much where I'm at.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They play for the club.
Yeah,
So how long has that club been around for?
So that club's been around, I believe, since the 16th. This is the 16th year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what was that experience like playing for them?
It was awesome. I actually started at Ironbound, and then I wanted to make a move to a little bit bigger club, a little bit more focused on the college placement.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to Copa, and I had the privilege of playing on a really good team. and I ended up going to play Division I soccer. And
Oh, nice.
And I came back to the club to give back the way they gave me an opportunity to go play at the next level.
Sweet. Do you have anything like a memorable moment?
The one big memorable moment, I actually played on the second team my U18 year, and we made it to the state cup final, and we played against the first team in the club. So it was the first time in club history that both teams met each other in the state cup final.
Nice.
They got the better half of it, but it was still a pretty cool experience.
Oh no! So it didn't end with with that dub, but you still got
exactly.
You still got
The moment was a little bit bigger than the result.
No, of course, that's what's important. So right now, you said you're giving back to the club. What are some of the things some of your responsibilities as far as giving back?
So office-wise, I pretty much run the club from scheduling and field management and contracts, and just overlook pretty much everything from there. Run the futsal program as well.
Mm-hmm.
On the field, I've got two pretty awesome groups, a 2010 group and a 2007 group right now.
Okay.
So they're pretty cool to train with, and it's just basically giving them the right foundation to have a successful future in the sport.
So doing this every day, what do you feel is the biggest takeaway from working with, I guess, like these young minds, these young talents?
I just think that their minds is the most cool thing to work with, because they're such sponges right now, where the information that you give them, you can see it getting put on the field, whether it's in a week and a half or instant or over time.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing that overall development and knowing the work that you're putting in is getting produced. You know what I mean? And
right, you see it.
We're not just there overlooking them. We're actually giving them guidance and a good foundation to wherever they want to take the sport, whether they go and play in college or go even farther than that, or just end after high school. But they've had a great experience of learning the game, and now they can be the next generation to give back.
That's nice, man. I really wish I had that, especially growing up. I didn't have the opportunity to play for such a, I guess, prestigious academy like Copa right now, especially the way you're handling it and you're describing it. I saw Rafa was nodding his head up and down like you were agreeing with what he was saying. Is there something else that you'd add on with coaching these young kids?
No, I mean he said it all. I mean, like you said, sometimes because we play the sport, we get a little competitive, and we just want to win. It's not about winning. It's about connecting with these kids. Before they're players, they're kids, they're children.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it. Sometimes it's good to just be like, wow, I'm just coaching children. I'm having a positive influence in their lives. Not only am I teaching them how to be a better player, but also how to hold, how to values, how to make them better people growing up.
That's nice. So do you guys often, both of you, do you have a chance to work together, or?
Yeah, for the most part, since Rafa's joined Copa, it's been bouncing on each other's ideas. We go to each other's benches and watch it. We stayed and watch each other's sessions and jump in each other's sessions, covered each other's sessions, covered each other's games, and it's literally just the learning and the respect of he might have an idea that I didn't have, or I might have an idea that he didn't have, and we can just continue to grow as each other, as colleagues, and give these kids a little better platform.
It's a nice synergy.
I actually love that, and I kind of want to follow up on that question. Given the fact that you guys help each other out, taking over each other's practices, jumping in each other's practices and everything, how does your coaching philosophy differ from one another?
Oof.
I think me and Andrew actually have very similar styles. Just personality-wise, we're very passionate. We are very emotional people. You get what you see. Like, we're not messing. Like, whatever we're feeling, you're gonna get. Clearly, sometimes you gotta filter a little bit. But I would say that we have very, very similar styles. Not only how we want to coach our teams, but personality. Like I said, we're very passionate people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I would say we probably have the closest of that nature in the club, where we know that if he, like tomorrow, perfect example, I'm going to a wedding, he's filling in for my boys, there's no drop off. There's no different kind of tone, different kind of ideas. We've pretty much kind of been on the same track of how we want teams to play, and then the demeanor and the discipline and the work that we want the kids to get out of it as well.
So who's Pep and who's Arteta?
It all depends on the day.
He got all the trophies.
It depends on the day.
That's awesome, man. But given you guys the age group you guys coach, it's awesome. They're sponges. Do you think is the most important thing to teach these young athletes?
My biggest thing is just technical ability.
Okay.
Like, if you can build the foundation of a player that is comfortable on the ball, dealing with pressures, time, space, and just being comfortable on the ball, as they get older, you can give them the tactics, you can give them the little intricacies, the psychological part of the game that can all come later. A lot of people try to do that first, where they're like, oh, worried about shape, worried about formation, worried about this at such young ages, and their minds are like, I have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? But if we give them this foundation, how to deal with 1v1s, how to deal with 2v1s, we're at these small little moments of the game, which happen a lot in the games that they play, then they get to perfect those and get growing. And so they get older, when the game gets bigger, now you can start talking about units of play and areas of the field and start really
awesome.
Getting a little bit more specific.
Developmental steps that you take to that.
Yeah, we're very big on getting players confident on the ball. You know, we want to, like you said, the main thing is technical players. We want to help them be technical players, and also I would say me and him, we really want to make our kids competitive. Like, we want competition. Everything we do is competitive. Even from the warm up to the end is competitive, and just being accountable. You know, like, just hold yourselves accountable. You know, if you make a mistake, it's okay, but how can you fix it? Right? It just
adapt into the game in a
yeah,
way.
that's something that we're.
Man, these sounds like some deadly kids, man.
I know,
These
man.
sound like some
trying.
killers on the pitch.
At this age, has concussions been an issue with you guys yet, or?
Yeah, I mean, I never had to deal with it in like in a game, but
Yeah.
I've had players get concussed off games and then get a doctor's note, hey, I'm concussed. So I've had it happen.
Okay.
I know last time we actually did talk about this way long ago about concussions in the youth leagues and everything. Has that changed at all? Like with the heading policies or anything like that? Is that still normal? I
think it's U12 and over. You can after you're 12 years old, 11. So U12 and over, right? It's
Yeah, U12 and over.
You can start heading the ball.
Yeah.
So that's a rule that was implemented, I would say, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, man.
Okay.
To cut that down and just let the body develop, the brain develop. So
That's
So as far as your teams, before I cut you off, whose team would win?
Ooh.
it'd be
If we do
interesting.
FC Rafa against FC Andrew, who wins?
Well, I would put my 07s on the line first because they're probably my most successful team. But I don't
Yeah,
know,
we coach different age groups.
Yeah,
so.
if it was the same age group, it would be a better argument. But like he has a year younger. You know what I mean?
Okay.
08s, and then his next group is 05, so it's 2 years older.
Oh, whoa.
So the competition would be a lot harder. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. I'm trying to get my 08s very good so they can get to his team, too.
I like that. I like
So
that.
play up a year. Yeah.
So the players that you coach, you kind of are preparing them for you
For the next
in a
level.
way, and then
Yeah.
vice versa when you get to your other age group they're
Yeah.
dealing with. Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, we try to have some sort of structure where they get passed on to coaches after 2-3 years.
Okay.
It all depends on the group,
Yeah.
right? I've seen coaches have teams for 5, 6, 7 years because the chemistry within that coach never
true.
goes dry and just keeps developing. And then we've seen where that 2-3, and then where it's time to move on to the next level of a coach. And it doesn't mean that this coach is better than that coach, but this coach is going to give them something different. You know what I mean? That they haven't seen for the last 2-3 years. So Rafa just got these 08s, so we probably won't be seeing another coach in that group for a couple of years. You know what I mean? Because he's got to integrate him. He's got to give him everything. He's going to take him to 11v11. You know what I mean? And then after that, then that's when the directors in the club usually decide, like, should we keep him going? Should we make a decision of moving? And usually it's easily like philosophical or just a new ideas.
This is like an intense thing, man.
For real. It's mind bending,
all
man.
I'm
I
used
like
to
it.
is like travel soccer coaching, high school coaching, like where we just go play for fun and get a badge at the end of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, geez, this is awesome, man. I don't think it was like this in the past over here, at
Nah,
least.
definitely
Not here in the
not.
past. So do you think the soccer, I guess, grassroots or just fundamentals, how much do you think it differs from the United States to like outside of the countries?
I mean, I it's a hard question to answer because I never seen how it is over there, in person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up playing in Brazil, but it was such a long time ago that
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's different. But I think that the one big difference between, especially the Latin American countries and the European countries is that soccer is their true passion.
Like over here it's football and baseball.
Here
over there.
there's so much competition, basketball, lacrosse, there's so many other sports where, let me speak for Brazil, it's soccer.
Yeah.
You might play other sports, but majority of the time it's soccer. So here is a little bit different because of that. And there also, like, you're just always out playing. Maybe because of the weather, it's not like we deal with the winter there.
That's true.
That could play, but we're always out. I mean, as a kid, I was always out playing soccer all day long. As soon as I was out of school, I was playing soccer until at nighttime, and then I'll go to sleep, do the same thing the next day. So that's one big difference here. Like, sometimes it's not every kid, but most kids they're not playing soccer unless they're with their team training. Yeah. So that's one thing we want to get out of our players. It's just get them very passionate about the game, so they're always playing, consistently playing, because that's how you're gonna get better as well.
That's true.
That's true.
It's like I'm motivated right now. I just want to
For
go
real.
and just coach some.
I wish I were 12 again.
I
I wish I were 12 again. Just
know, right, man? Jeez, man. God, what it must have been to actually be good.
Do you guys have since Rafa was speaking about playing when he was younger, do you have any memories like that, Andrew, about playing when you were younger?
Yeah, I actually was fortunate enough at 16 to go train at the Sporting Lisbon Academy in Portugal.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
that was a cool experience because you go there, right, being a decent player, but not really seeing what the world has to offer. And I got to meet kids from all over Europe, not just Portuguese kids, all over from Europe. And the talent there was unbelievable. And that was the point I was going to make. Like, I think we've done a good job over this last maybe 15, 20 years of soccer developing in this country and building that grassroots, but we're still very far behind. And I think we know we're behind, but we're trying to take the right steps, and it starts with small-time coaches like me and Rafa doing it in these local academies in New Jersey, then progressing towards the higher-ups in this country and just continue to develop and push forward. And that was a cool experience that I got to see. That I always let my players know, like, you might be doing well in an EDP game here on Sunday, but the game is so much bigger than just us this weekend. So you got to continue to work and push yourself.
How do you keep that mentality though? Like, how do you put that mentality in these kids that after what you saw, you went to Sporting Lisbon, you trained with probably the best of the best. How do you keep that mentality in these kids to keep trying to go that next level?
It's not easy.
Word with so many distractions now.
So many variables.
Everything nowadays.
It's not easy. I mean, the best thing that we can do is just at young ages teach them to love the game, and then continue to encourage them to work on their own and give them little tasks and little games that they do at home, little challenges, where then it becomes second nature of them just working on these skills and stuff, and eventually, hopefully, right, their imagination grows, and at home they're playing in 1v1 against Ronaldo going to goal. You know what I mean? And that's how it all begins. But they've got to want it, you know what I mean? And it's not easy, like you said. There's so many things going on with video games, and obviously school is super important, so they've got to take care of that. But the ones that do find that love and that passion for a long time are the ones that usually break through the crease.
That's pretty intense. I have one question, but I completely forgot what it was.
If it was a choice between FIFA and Fortnite, which one are you letting them play?
Oh, FIFA all day.
Yeah?
The
FIFA all
question,
day.
man.
You
Yeah,
sure?
FIFA all day, yeah. It's
Pro
not even
clubs.
close.
It's pro close, yeah? It's not even close?
Not even close, yeah. I tell all my kids play FIFA all the time.
That's interesting. Do you think it like contributes to their footballing knowledge?
The pro clubs aspect of it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. it'd be-
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, like
if they play pro clubs, they definitely have to know how to play the game.
All right,
'cause you
kids.
you gotta produce.
You heard it here from your
Yeah.
coaches. You got to start getting on pro clubs. So make a virtual.
yeah, we're gonna make a pro clubs for our age group. Our team, we're gonna
Yeah.
make football.
You're gonna see the 2017 putting a team together on pro clubs and training every night, learning the rules.
You know, it's funny. Like when I've always played FIFA, but after I started coaching, I realized I got much better just because now I know the tactics. Before I didn't know anything. I was just every time I got the ball, I'm trying to dribble, I'm trying to do whatever. Now it's like, okay, like I'm on this side of the field, I can't go forward. Let me switch the point of attack. Let me get the ball back, because let me go the ball. Now I go for. I started playing so much better because of it.
And it's funny you say that. I mean, I'm nowhere near the level you guys are on right now. But after starting this podcast, watching football for what it is, the tactics behind it, not just like who was the score line. I find myself doing the same thing in FIFA Pro Clubs, just finding those gaps, looking for it. Yeah, it's intense.
Right.
It's pretty crazy
Yeah,
how.
you see it a little bit different.
Now
Yeah.
it definitely tests you, like your knowledge of soccer.
And that's
Yeah.
thanks to you, because you're the one that told me, like, don't look at the ball the whole game.
Yeah.
Look what's happening around the ball.
Yeah, and that's another thing. As a fan, it was the same thing. And it's hard on TV because normally they zoom in and everything,
Yeah.
but and especially when I'm watching my team play, it's really hard not to not watch the ball.
Yeah.
But when I'm watching like neutral games, I always try to analyze how is this team attacking? Like, how do they like to attack? Is it through the middle? What kind of players are getting on the ball? What did they do? What did they do when the ball is here? And, like, I'm always analyzing and trying to understand better. Like, and that helped me be a better coach.
But like during Crusader games, you're not doing that.
I
Right?
can't. I'm watching the ball.
Right in the moment, whatever happened.
I think that's like actually a good segue to your question that you mentioned earlier about what they would take.
Yeah, so this is going to be it depends how comfortable you are with at least your knowledge of the Premier League teams or Premier League sides. So I was going to do it to bottom 10, but that's a bit skewed and it makes it unfair. There are some squads that have come out that are challenging for these top spots. So I'm going to give you a choice,
Yeah.
all right, for each of you.
Okay.
So between Leicester, Bournemouth, Wolves, and Crystal Palace, which of those 4 teams, you got to pick one, would you take on as a coach where you see the most potential? Looking at the I guess they're starting 11, like their roster and how they've been doing. Which team do you think has the most potential?
I'm going Leicester all day.
Leicester all day?
They have a
You're
good
both?
structure.
Yeah.
You got no faith in Wolves? No, Portugal
I was actually
FC?
gonna say I'm surprised you didn't.
Portugal FC.
The Wolves team last year I think is a little bit more better place. I think people figured them out a little bit, and also
Yeah.
with this Europa League run early on, they've taken a little bit longer to get going.
Yeah.
But this Leicester team is special, man. The hard workers in the middle with Chandri, and then they got Harvey Barnes coming off the bench. Just good players. Chilwell is gonna. I don't think he's gonna make it past this season.
Madison.
But, yeah,
filthy.
James Madison's fantastic.
Filthy.
Party all the time.
Tillemans, bro.
Yeah, Tillman's.
They got a squad, man.
Him, Chandri, Tillmans. Those guys are good players, man.
So no love for Diogo Jota? And no love
No, I
for...
mean Jota, Neves.
for
Listen,
Neves.
Neves with the goal
No
that he
love
scored
for
against
Vinagre?
United this
Come
year.
on.
I'm not looking at Wolves for another 6 months because of what they did a couple of weeks ago to us.
I
chance.
felt that.
But Nuno's doing a good job with that group, man.
He's
And,
Brazilian, correct?
Portuguese.
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 Yeah.
That's why it's Portugal FC.
And he
Yeah,
has-
that's Portugal FC.
Bro,
Yeah.
I want you to witness this because I've been telling these guys Portugal are the team to fear in the future,
Yes.
man. Even today.
Yeah,
Even
I
today.
mean, baby steps, right? And we're starting to see a different generation come through with Ronaldo leaving and just a bunch of young guys breaking through. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, João Felix, Bruma,
Oh, God.
Bruma,
Yeah.
the outside backs with Semedo and Cancelo and
Yeah,
the lot still they'll piece. We do
Yeah,
need
but-
center backs though because Ruben Diaz can't do it by himself and Pepe is on his way out and
Pepe.
Jose Fonte is shaky.
No more Pepe.
Is he
but-
still at Southampton?
Jose Fonte,
Yeah.
I believe so. I'm not sure though.
I
I
haven't
wouldn't.
heard
I
of him.
I
wouldn't.
haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah,
but
if he is just sitting the bench.
Is
Yeah.
your Portuguese team Sporting?
Sporting, yeah.
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 Alright, I got to my girl because she's oh shit, I should know this.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, her dad's a
Ah.
Porto fan, so I mean, Porto, but whatever.
Close.
Sporting
My
Her
man,
brother's
today,
Sporting.
so.
my man was about to get his Portuguese credentials revoked,
Yeah,
bro.
the card would be taken away.
I'm an honorary member. So I do have one question for you guys, and then I'll leave it to you. What transitioned you from being a player to a coach? How was that transition?
Okay, so how was the transition from player to coach?
Yeah, because I mean, you guys obviously focused on playing soccer. That was
Right.
that was your focus. That you
Right.
wanted to be the best that you can be.
Right.
Now you're coaching. How was
Yeah.
that shift? And
To be honest, it's hard. You know, people think, oh, like you played, you can coach. It's not that simple, because I remember me as a player, I just always understood things, right? Like you didn't need to tell me, I would understand. Now, when you're coaching, you need to tell them. I was so used to understanding already, like you didn't need to tell me. Like if I see something going on in the game, I would realize. Like nobody ever had to tell me, okay, like when you're in this scenario, this is what you do. Now you really have to break it down and dumb it down to these kids so they can understand, because you can say something and the good coaches make sure that the kids get it, because if they're not getting it, why you're saying it? Because it's pointless. It's gonna go out, So it's can you break it down? Can you make it simple for them to understand it? And it took me a while to get that out, and I think I'm getting comfortable at it now.
Yeah, the game evolved so much over the last 15 years that when we played, it was very much we knew what to do, and it could have been a credit to our coaches that we had, but we didn't recognize it. You know what I mean? And the second we became coaches, we're like, all right, now we've got to do what they did to us. You understand? Yeah. As a player, right, you were just like, oh, I know the information, I know what I'm doing. Especially when you get older in the college game, you're just like, oh, we've been through this situation before, I've seen this before. But now, as the coach, the biggest challenge was like, how do I break this down? How do I simplify this for the child to understand? And the biggest thing that Rafa always brings up as well is check for understanding, right? Because we can teach, right? It looks good for that moment, but then will they understand it to get it repetitive? You know what I mean? Can you go and repeat it 2-3 weeks down the line, meaning you did learn the information, it's not short term, it becomes long term, and now it's embedded. You know what I mean?
I have just one more question because that was awesome. It just sounds like you guys enjoyed so much. So, which is more enjoyable? All right, let me give you a scenario. Coach the winning side in the World Cup for your nation, or score the win and go on Champions League?
I would take the World Cup just because it's a little bit higher. And if Portugal ever won a World Cup and I led them, it'd be over. I'd retire right there. No, but all serious, right now, the point of my life, I choose coaching 100%. I haven't played competitive soccer probably for now 2 years, but it was strictly my ability started to fall off a little bit, but strictly the big decision was because I fell really in love with coaching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
fell down.
I
had some bad injuries the year that I called it quits, but no, coaching really took over, and I just loved the whole aspect of just not only just coaching, managing a team. You know what I mean? From start to finish, taking them through the ranks, and then pushing them on to the next coach to do the next thing.
Awesome. I'm not keep going to the coaching thing, but yeah.
Listen,
It'd be different for him though, because you gotta
Yeah.
ask him if Brazil picks up the trophy, or if he scored the winning goal for Cruzeiro Libertadores.
Yeah, no, I would still pick. I'll pick playing. I still have the love. Like, I still enjoy a lot playing. It's my favorite thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I love coaching a lot, but I still really enjoy playing. And I actually use coaching now, like the fact that I'm a coach, to my advantage when I play.
Yeah.
You know, and I know Andrew is like, when I play with him and touching, this guy does not shut up. Like, he's always, hey, get the ball, he's always
It changes. Everything changes.
I do
the game at a different
I
level.
love it, and I do the same sometimes when I'm playing. Like, you know, I'm helping my team understand what to do, and like me as a forward now, like I know when to come in and get the ball. I know when to run it behind. And, you know, I know different scenarios that maybe I didn't really get when I was just a player.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a coach, I understand it more.
I thought I want that because I can keep going into this rabbit hole because I love it, but I
like that. I like that, man. Especially he's like, now I know what's going on.
Yeah,
Like,
so now I know I'm not playing against him ever. So.
I'm not just gonna run at you. I'm gonna change the point of attack on you. That's what I'm gonna do.
What? This is seriously last question. I promise. I promise. This is the last
No, we
question.
can keep going on.
It's a rabbit hole. I just,
That's what
like,
these
I
guys
just
are
have to
here
get the
for. That's what
answers,
they're on the
man.
bench for.
Careful, man.
Do you teach? I wanna. If you can't answer this, just don't answer this. But
Right.
do you guys teach dirty tactics?
I teach
The
players to be
dark art?
clever.
Okay.
And it's just all part of the game. Like, I'm not telling them to go dive, but if you do see an advantage to take and you feel like that advantage will get you farther than maybe taking the step this way, then why not take it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all part of the game at the end of the day. I'm not asking them as soon as they enter the area to fall, but if they did create the space and the person's left the leg out and you look like you're probably not going to get to the ball, just drag your leg and see what happens. You know what I mean? So I've always thought just playing clever, right? You've got to outthink your opponent, and if your opponent didn't do their job and you did yours and you got rewarded for it because they failed to do theirs, then it's not the dark arts to that extent.
I've never looked at it that way.
I've never heard it spelled that way.
I've never. I've always looked at it like you're a fucking piece of shit for doing that. But actually not that. Now you put it like that. It's like
It's like a little nicer.
It is.
Yeah.
It's polished and nice. Like, I'll take that.
So it's not like Pep Guardiola where a few weeks
Exactly.
ago he's like, we
Yeah.
don't do tactical fouls on my club.
Yeah, and then
Rodri
Rodrigo
was
was
like,
like, oh yeah, I've learned so much.
I'm here to do tactical fouls. I've learned so much from Pep.
All right, now I'm done. I promise I'm done. I'll shut up now.
Yo, we're gonna switch it because man, listening to your stories from players to coaches and how you're imbuing all of this knowledge and soccer, I guess. Well, I'm gonna call it football heritage to your kids.
Dude, that's a whole podcast in itself.
I know, man.
Like in my head, I'm like, yo, we should just do a podcast for that and then a podcast for this.
I know, man. I
Yeah.
want to just do some
That
recording
was so
stuff.
dope.
Yeah. So what happened this week? We were international break.
Yeah.
So there were a few results which didn't go, in favor, and we were actually speaking about it off camera. So I picked out a few just to get what you guys think on it. I'm pretty sure maybe you heard at least the results, but if you happen to watch the game, definitely chime in.
Sure.
So we have the Ukraine. We'll start with Ukraine and Portugal. We have that 2-1. We did post about it, about Ronaldo.
Ronaldo 700.
CR7, the GOAT, all day, 700, hitting 700. So that result, do you have anything to say on Ukraine scalping that 2-1 win?
Nah, it was a good performance from them. I believe Shevchenko's their coach now, right?
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Shevchenko's the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was I?
That team is probably one of the best Ukraine teams since he's played. They've got it's Zinchenko down the middle, and then Yarmolenko on the side, and then they brought this young kid up top. They're 9 that actually I think scored their first goal. No, their game plan was fantastic. They were going to sit in, they were going to counter us with pace, and we were very complacent. And I don't think we had the right creativity in the game to break them down. Right? When Bruno Fernandes stepped on the field, when we brought John Felix on at halftime, I think we were a little bit more dangerous. 24 shots, 13 on target, something like that.
Yeah, it was a FIFA stat. It was a FIFA stat match.
It was ridiculous. It was just, I didn't think it was our day, and I just think they played ridiculously well. It almost felt like they knew that this was their opportunity to clinch Euros, and we were like, we still got a little bit of time, so we're just stepping in here, and we're going to be a little casual. And that's exactly the 2 goals that went in. As soon as they went in, I was like, we're not coming back.
Yeah.
No chance.
All right. That's valid. You spoke about Joao Felix, and when he came in, I know Rafa was having a little bit of a moment when mentioning Joao Felix. For each of you, what's something that you think Felix could, maybe one trait that he could maybe work on to make him a more complete player? I know he's still pretty young, but let's say right now you
19?
could. Yeah, he's 19. You could hit him up, be like, "Yo, Felix, listen. Either hit the gym or what's up, or work on that touch, or work on that finish." Like, what would you let him know?
We were talking a little bit before the podcast started. I think the biggest thing is he's got to be a little bit more selfish, right? He's a very selfless player, and it's very good for a young guy to have that already, right? Usually you see young guys with a lot of talent that want to come and prove themselves a little bit too much, and then they fall off. You know what I mean? But I think he's got to be a little bit selfish because he's got the talent. They brought him in 120 mil for Atletico to be the guy, right? At least not if it's not right now, it's the future. So take that. You know what I mean? And you're seeing a guy almost on his way out, even though he says he's not on his way out, Ronaldo, and be the next guy. You know what I mean? Like, even when he stepped on the field against Ukraine this week, it was kind of just like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. You know what I mean? I'm still the young guy. You know what I mean? But do that, right? We want to see that tenacity. We want to see that competitiveness. And I think he's missing just a little bit of that bite right now. But the ability's there. The change of pace is there. The eye for a goal is there. I just think he has to change his mentality a little bit more. He's a little bit too Portuguese right now. That's the problem.
He's too Portuguese. That's
it. He's too Portuguese. Like, it's all right.
I'm gonna put the weight on you, Brazil, Rafa, because Brazil here, they had 2 friendly matches, and they drew against 2 pretty impressive African sides. 1-1 against Senegal. And I think the most surprising is 1-1 against Nigeria, because Nigeria hadn't looked very threatening since the World Cup.
They got the nutmeg king in there. What do you expect?
Oh my God!
Listen,
I guess so. What do you have any takes on these results? Is there something that you saw, something that you want to call out?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't watch the games. I unfortunately don't have beIN Sports anymore. I've been talking to these guys. I'm like, I need to find a new,
Listen, I feel that because Colombia started putting all their matches on pay-per-view since September, and they've been doing awful since they decided that. Yeah, even friendlies. Yeah, man. Yeah. But not to cut you off, just relating to the fact that it's harder and harder to watch these matches. What do you have to say about these draws, though?
Yeah, I listen. I think one thing Brazil is known for is that I feel like sometimes they don't take friendlies serious.
Okay.
And I understand. It's not that serious. And some players, especially all the superstars that we have, maybe they're, careful with injuries. I know Neymar got hurt again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they just take it easy sometimes. And we just won the Copa America. So like we are confident, I guess, in terms of like we got this.
Yeah.
So like I said, I didn't watch the game. I know that we took a lot of shots. I know that we were dominating the game, but I didn't see it. And like another debate that we can get on is like, is Neymar?
Thank you. I will get into it. Let's go.
Does Neymar help or hurt the team?
Let's go. That's it, baby.
Oh,
you know what? We're synergy right now.
Why do you say that, bro?
Listen. On the podcast, recently, we've been going back and forth on whether
for Neymar or against Neymar.
Listen, we've been going back and forth on whether Neymar is the ultimate game changer, because there's someone here in a black sweater with no Liverpool crest on it that thinks that he is the ultimate game changer. I don't think so though. So if you want to bring it up, like by all means, you're the guest. We want to make you feel welcome. What's your take on whether he helps or hurts the team?
That's
Brazil, you're treading on very thin ice right now.
Let us speak.
Let
He's
it-
always been a
I'm
Neymar
good- I'm-
supporter, so
I'm just-
I'm scared. The way
I'm-
he started off responding is like, I'm going to get the knife in my back.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest.
That's what I want.
think Neymar is a phenomenal player. He's very, very talented. I think he can be a game changer, 100%. You know, look at what he's doing with PSG. You know, he won it out. He didn't want to be there. It didn't happen. He's still there, and he's been killing it. He's scoring every game for them and game winners. You know, because they've been barely winning. He's like 1-0 wins. Now, I don't know what happens. By the way, if you look at his stats for Brazil, it's insane.
Yeah,
It's
it
ridiculous.
is. I will recognize
better
that.
than Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Especially
100%.
goals per game and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has he's only a couple, a few goals away from passing Pelé for the most ever. I think, right? I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
For Brazil, yes.
for
Brazil,
Brazil, which is insane. Now, I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes I think it depends on his mood. Sometimes he just wants to put on a show and he hurts the team because he slows down too much. He ball hogs and he doesn't do what the team needs, right? But then there's times which, like I said, the number speaks for itself that he's the guy. He's the guy that we bank on to score our goals and to assist or whatever it is that we need. So I think it's all about how he's feeling. Like what is he trying to get out of this game today? Is he really trying to go win it? Is he we just won Copa America without him. I wonder how much better we would have done if he was there, or would it have been worse?
You can't do much better than winning it. I'll say that.
Yeah,
first,
but we did play well though. Yeah.
Do you take Neymar on Chelsea?
Oh yes.
Do you take Neymar in Manchester United?
I take 11 Neymar. I think that was one of the rumors in the summer, right? Every summer, Neymar's supposed to be coming to Man United.
Yeah, everybody, like everyone else, is tied to Man
Arsenal
United.
now.
Yeah, same thing. So I feel you on that, and I think that's one of the things that that's my thorn. That's the thorn in my side when it comes to Neymar. It shouldn't depend on his mood. Like that can change. It's about your mentality. You gotta be a killer all the time if that's what you are. You're a game changer. Or you're not. You turn it on or you're not. And if looking at these recent results like Copa America, where they actually achieve success without him, is he gonna feel left out now? Like is maybe that what he's trying to do? Like listen, don't forget that I'm still worth it to this team, and because you had players like Everton step up, you had players like I'm not gonna really shout out Vinicius too much, but there were some standout guys, and now Neymar I feel like is kind of like stepping back a little bit.
No, I think that the coach loves Neymar. The Chichi, he loves Neymar. Even during the Copa America, Neymar was hurt. He would always go, to talk to the team and hug the coaches and the players, and he was always there.
Yeah.
So they never we know that we need Neymar.
Of course.
And even like you said, you brought up a couple players, Everton, Vinicius Jr., he's Charlison, Douglas. By the way, these guys didn't get Vinicius Jr. didn't play in the Copa America. Douglas Costa didn't get called up. William at first didn't get called up, and then because Neymar got hurt, he got the call up. Lucas Moura didn't get called up. There's so much talent, but even if you name all these players, none of them compare to Neymar. Now,
Neymar's on another level.
100%.
Probably like Coutinho under him, and then the rest of the squad.
Yeah.
I probably put Firmino in there, to be honest.
Oh, Bobby.
Firmino's a great team player,
Yeah.
amazing team player.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus does very well for Brazil, not so much for Man City.
Yeah.
But like you said, and like I really started thinking about it when you said it. It depends on his mood. That's not okay. If you want to be the guy, you want to be the best, which everybody talked about it, right? Oh, Neymar is going to be the best soon, or he's going to be the next. One thing that Messi and Ronaldo have is the mentality. Those guys,
They embody the best.
you can always count on them. Yeah. Now, let me throw some shade at Messi. Like Messi hides sometimes in finals, Ronaldo doesn't. That's the one thing that Messi and Ronaldo fans can really go at it. Like, oh, Ronaldo shows up in finals, he scores. Messi sometimes he hides, But again, it's a team sport. But those guys, they've been consistent for 10
the
years,
time.
for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
They've been consistent.
I like that.
Neymar needs to step up his mentality and be that guy.
Well, I'll extend a little olive branch over to you, Eric. We'll leave it at mentality. Maybe, you know, he has to take care of his emotions a little bit, but
I'll take that.
we're gonna leave it on that. We'll take a quick break. We're gonna shift over to OT in a little bit. So we're gonna sign off, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
OT, never much love when we go OT.
Right now, if you're still sticking around, we are in OT, overtime. We got some pretty interesting questions that Eric is gonna pull up for us. We had a pretty fun time on the IG Live at halftime.
Yeah, for some.
Yeah, for some, because Rafa can't be out buying homes for everybody. But again, we want to make this a bit quick fire and taking advantage of the fact that we have someone in a very crisp and fit United jersey.
I'll give it to you, man, just because it looks nice, man. But that's
what I'm saying, bro.
You gotta stop.
I'll bring another one next time.
I'm
I'll bring a
shouting
different
it
one next
out.
time.
I'm shouting it out, man. I'm shouting it out. So you could see some of the questions here, just so you're not, caught off guard. Right now, what are your thoughts on United's current form? You were speaking a little bit about Ole and the managerial situation. So right now they're sitting bottom 10. They've only won 2 matches, I believe. Their whole record with tying teams like Wolves and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go too much into it. What's your thought on their form right now?
I think we're in a really tough situation where we're trying to bring ideas of our culture and what we are used to of the way we play, the tenacity, the hard work, the production in the final third, and not having the players to do that. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of young guys that aren't at that level yet or don't have that credential or identity or just the understanding of what being a Man United player is. You know what I mean? And we're trying to do that on the fly in a very, very tough Premier League.
Yes.
I mean, this is probably one of the most competitive Premier Leagues we've seen in the last couple of years, just from the sense of that middle group, right? The top end is still very fantastic. You got City, you got Liverpool, who are always very good, but that
Arsenal.
I guess.
For now.
That next wave of 4, 5, 6 teams have really improved, and outside the top 6, they've really done a good job. And we are trying to figure ourselves out, find our identity, find a purpose of our play, while trying to still compete in this tough team. So I think our form would be probably like a 3 out of 10 right now, and it's pretty tough. But you've just got to sit through it, right? Because we've had fantastic seasons for the last 20 years. We've been the cream of the crop, and now it's our turn to sit, take a couple punches in the mouth, and just keep going.
Yeah.
You guys are going through what we went through.
Yeah.
Like before 2010 into 2013.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we were.
I'm telling you, it shit sucks.
We were enjoying. We were
Sucks.
sitting up top, nice and pretty, thinking nothing's gonna go wrong, and Ferguson's moving on. And I think he had an idea that things aren't going too well. Let me get out of here real quick.
And the lousy neighbors came through.
Yeah, and then exactly.
So, but how do you feel that he chose David Moyes and that kind of just started the?
Yeah, that was. I personally did not like that choice. I think we could have gone with. I would have liked to keep maybe Phelan just on board. I know we lost him for a little bit, but it is what it is. It's been a bunch of Band-Aids, and that's where we're at. We're trying to figure ourselves out. We brought a guy that was part of the club, found a lot of success in the club, and he's trying to be there. I don't think his personality is a Man United coach, right? But at least he's got the roots to try to get the players to get there. You know what I mean? And he's got a lot of young guys to work with, so hopefully they can start molding into good players.
You want to take them on the next question? As far as being a player and a coach.
Yeah, so
A fan and a coach, sorry.
A fan and a coach, yeah. So you can obviously look at this from both perspectives. You're a fan of the team, but you're also a coach. So you can look at it from, what's going to be good for the long term, but what do you want now?
Yeah.
Are you torn between the two? Like, you guys are struggling right now. Do you want Ollie to be out and get Allegri in now, or do you want to suck it up and just wait it out?
Yeah, I think we've just got to get through it. You know what I mean? We knew what we were going into, and as much as everyone hates on Ed Woodward and the Glazers and all these guys, like they don't really do anything to help the situation. But the one point that I do agree with that is that we've got to give Ole time because we know the situation is no manager, in my opinion, can come and take the team that they have now, right now, not the injuries, aside from the injuries, right now, and be productive. You know what I mean? Unless you completely go Mourinho-esque and sit in and counter, and that's not what we want to see. You know what I mean? I'd rather us perform and develop these kids and continue to push forward, playing the right way, trying to get on the ball. And we've seen it. The games that we've played in, we've dominated possession. Like, we've been on the ball. Our chances creating is the biggest problem, and that will hopefully come over time. I think once we start getting our bodies back, we can start producing a little bit better. There's been one glory game has been Chelsea this season. But I don't want to lay out, at least not right now. You know what I mean? I think when these bodies start coming back, and if the production doesn't get better, then it's going to be like, Ole might not be the answer. But for now, I think he's doing the best he can with what he has.
So you don't think he's out of his depth?
I think he's in over his head once we've got the squad. But right now, right now he has a team of the level that he is, in my opinion. He's got kids. He's going to try to get those kids going forward. And once we start getting some of these guys back, if he can continue the magic that he had before he was signed full time, that'd be amazing. But if not, then it's kind of just going to fall on his shoulders. He's got to take the blame at some point. You know what I mean? It can't just be people covering for him.
So that glory game, did Rafa call out or at the academy? Or?
Me and Rafa were sitting right next to each other during that first game of the season, and
that's interesting.
We watched it together.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Yeah. They came over to my brother's house. We were all watching.
You were there?
Yeah. He was there.
You were there.
That was the highlight of the season, and then it went downhill.
Yeah, it's funny because I think, Chelsea was at a similar spot, in terms of getting a player a coach that played for the club, right? Frank Lampard, a legend for Chelsea. We can't sign any players, let's give this guy a chance and let's see if he can build a culture. He knows what it is to be a Chelsea, what it is to be Chelsea. So, I think it's working well for us, and I think with what Andrew is saying, like being patient, like he did it last season, right? Ole, like he went, was it 12, 14 games, 13?
Yeah,
it was a lot of games. Like he had an unbeatable run, and then, like you said, like now the players are hurt. All this, all the more superstars are hurt, and he's working with kids, and right now the United kids are not doing as well as the Chelsea kids, because Mason Mount and Tammy and Hudson-Odoi.
That's black and white. It's black and white. It's definitely that way. Sure. Yeah.
So that doesn't fall on the coach.
But I'm just talking about that game, dude. Chelsea played phenomenal that game. Yeah. The 4-0. Yeah. I was like, oh my God! Like it was Man United's day. It was not Chelsea's day. Like it was a tight game. Chelsea was creating more chances. We hit the crossbar. We hit the post. Missed the breakaway, and then came go 1, 2, 3, 4. It is what it is. Yes. But you had a question?
No, yeah. So Chelsea have all young players playing. United had the same situation. Is it the coaching mentality or is it the philosophy? What's really the deterring factor here? Because this is a huge drop off.
I think both coaches are unexperienced, right? Like in terms of at this level, they've never been there. He's doing good though. He's doing phenomenal. Yeah, but like I was saying, our players are like Mason Mount is really good. Yeah. Tammy Abraham is he's banging goals in. Hudson-Odoi is class. Like
Reece James is going to come back and do
Reece James can be very good. Tamori. Loftus-Cheek when he's Tamori, center back. Like those are honestly, I didn't expect them to be that good. So, do you give Frankie credit for giving them a chance? Yes, but those players are performing. Man United younger players are not performing yet. Some of them did, like Greenwood and whatever.
Yeah, I think Frank Lampard has also a better pulse on his team than Ole does. His personality and his stature as a player is already greater than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He stepped into that locker room and people look at him and like, you know what I mean? And once your leaders respect that, I don't think Pogba respects Ole. Yeah. I don't think some of the bigger personalities in that group respect him. And if you're a young player coming into that locker room and you're looking to be a Pogba, a Marcus Rashford who's young but also a high-rated player in our club, if you don't respect the manager as much as you want, if they don't respect the manager as much as you want to, then you're probably going to be like, You know what I mean? I think Frank Lampard's got a better pulse in his locker room.
That's more like recency bias, though, right? Yeah. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is more of the '90s. And Frankie's is still in our head.
Yeah, exactly.
2012.
Word.
Yeah. And I think another reason why Frank is doing a little bit better right now is because Chelsea was left in good. Like Sahid did a very good job with Chelsea. I know there was people that were against him,
They
but
won a trophy. They won a
he
trophy.
won the
with him.
Europa League, and he changed the style. Chelsea was never that type of team that kept possession, and we were always a little bit more counterattacking, more direct. We are now building from the back, Jorginho, getting on the ball, and I think Sahi left Chelsea at a good spot, where Ole got Man United not at a good spot.
We got him with a different style. Mourinho and him, or Mourinho and the style that we want to play, or contrast. You know what I mean? So he's got players in the team like Matic who look like they're treading water in the middle of the field. You know what I mean? But you want a little bit more. Yeah, you want a little bit more mobility. Well, you see McTominay, but McTominay is also another young guy where his experience is not as high. So it's just going to be patience at the end of the day, and hopefully we get these bodies back soon, and then we'll go from there.
Well, there's nothing wrong with McTominay. There's something mentally wrong with him. He chose PES over FIFA. That's ridiculous.
That's where it all stems
That's
from.
where it all started.
Man. Listen, he bangs them in against the teams when it counts,
I like him.
So how long you're saying about? I like your take on it. The patience, giving all the time, not pulling the trigger too quick, because no one's gonna be a superhero. There is no managerial superhero anymore. At least we're not in the era like that. There's a few guys out there. There's a few names that can do it. So the follow up question to that is, how long until you see United back on top?
Well, the rectors came out, or some representatives from United came out a couple of weeks ago saying that they expect in 3 years to be fighting for the title. And I thought that was a little ridiculous, because I think we're way off. But maybe like 4 or 5 years we find the way. I think it's going to be big on how we making decisions in the transfer market. I mean, we've had some poor soccer decisions over the last couple of years, overpaying guys that...
Di Maria.
Would a director of football just
solve that?
Yeah, we need to solve that first. It was supposed to be solved in the spring, and we still have no sporting director. And Van der Sar was on an interview earlier this week. He's over there at Ajax right now. He's supposed to be interviewing and coming over, but that one stalled. So it's like, what are we doing?
You just mentioned something right now, and I'm trying to digress a bit because it was something really good.
It was making poor soccer decisions, buying players.
You thought that Harry Maguire?
I think he was a good step in the right direction, but I don't think he's playing as well as we all thought he would be. He looks a little bit behind. I would say a little bit unfit, a little slow. But he even commented this international break when they think they lost their first game in the international before they played Bulgaria. He said our form right now is terrible. Right, it's him who's coming off a poor form with Man United, and then you've got the left back in.
Danny Rose.
There was Danny Rose with Tottenham, and then the center back was Michael Keane. Michael Keane at Everton, who's in relegation. The only guy on that back line that's doing well is Trippier for Atletico Madrid, and you know what I mean. So,
even them, they've been tying games.
So Maguire's confidence is down. It's not where we want it to be as a club, and it's translating to the international game, and it's not really helping us out. It doesn't help when Lindelof can't win an aerial ball to save his life. You know what I mean? So we're in a tough situation. Our best center back so far this season, I think, has been Tunsabi. And he's been pretty impressive. But again, 21 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, I was giving him stick like earlier in the season. Why didn't you guys go after Koulibaly? I just recently learned that you guys didn't have a choice. You guys needed to get an English player.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn. So
yeah, Koulibaly would have been amazing. I think their coach was quoted saying that if Maguire went for 90 mil the way he is, Koulibaly's worth like 200 mil, which is crazy.
Yeah, and the same week he scored an own goal.
Yeah, exactly. Same week he scored the own goal. Yeah.
Then he got magged by Danny Howard. I saw that when he played Brazil.
Yeah, Koulibaly's class though.
Yeah, he's good. He's very good.
Now,
especially in FIFA.
Oh, he's so dirty in FIFA.
Yeah. For the sake of time, I think we should just jump into the preview for the weekend's game.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many directions we can go with this game, but let's just put it in perspective. You should be very happy right now. Manchester United have no Pogba, De Gea, Bailly, Lingard, Jones, and the doubts for the game are also Martial, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Greenwood, and Dalot.
My goodness.
Who's playing?
It's
a skeleton crew.
That's an injury 11 right there.
Now, I mean, I think...
Hold on. Yo, grab the Vaseline, bro.
It's going to be a long Sunday.
He still got that tub from game week 1. That's why.
Yeah.
So, talk to me. Perspective, Coach Mattia right now, what is your tactic going to this game, knowing that you guys are going in with skeleton crew right now to face the undefeated still,
Insane.
Liverpool?
I think Yeah,
In the Prem, yeah.
I think if you're Ole, you probably got to go against the grain a little bit for this one and not be naive and thinking that the way you're playing against the Newcastles and the Wolves, that you're a little bit more open, is going to work, because Liverpool will easily let you do that. They'll let you come out of your shape and then break you immediately. I mean, so I think we've got to go a little bit Jose-esque and a little bit more structure, 4-5-1, and play off the counter and see if we can do what Liverpool does best against them, right? Break them on the transition and see if we can use that. Basically, I think a little bit similar of a plan that we did against Chelsea. You know what I mean? Right, sit in and break and see if we can expose, because Liverpool this season, that back line hasn't been as efficient as it was last year. You know what I mean? So there's going to be some moments where we can get after them. But I would definitely bring the workhorses through the middle, dynamic on the outsides. Danny James is going to be huge. Rashford's going to be huge. Hopefully Martial can play.
Jones.
Jones. Hopefully Martial is back, even if he's off the bench. I think he was a huge piece to us in the beginning of the season. But I don't think we can go the way we started this year, where we feel like we're going to have a lot of the ball and control the game, because that will lead into problems.
Eddie, this is your team, man. You guys are going to Old Trafford.
I mean, it's either going to be two types. It's going to be one game or another game. One game, like you said, Manchester United is going to try attacking us, and then Mane is going to have a field day. Other day is that they're just going to lock it up, and then Origi's going to come in the 80th minute and score a header. So
Probably true.
I hate Origi being the lifeline for them. It's just like, why?
You know what's crazy? Like, Liverpool been, like a couple years ago, like you said, like they wouldn't win those games.
Yeah.
Now they like
It's that sense
all
of
season
something
long
happening.
they've been getting those 2-1 wins.
And Man
those
U-
1-0
Man United
wins.
magic.
Yeah, exactly.
So Alex, was it Fergie
Yeah,
time?
Fergie time.
Fergie
yeah.
time.
kind of transition.
And the big one was the pen, man. That pen, 2 weeks ago?
Mhm.
Like,
Mane, right?
yeah, Mane
The
flopping
against
after.
Leicester.
I'd say there was a little
That's a
contact,
PK.
but it was like a second after. Then you threw the
First of all,
legs.
you're teaching your kids to do that.
Yeah, just being clever,
It's being
Being
clever.
clever.
Being
But
clever.
again,
Just saying.
But again, that doesn't happen
Yeah.
to Liverpool 2-3 years ago. Now it's like full on everything, and I think it's theirs to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we said that at the beginning of the season, so and that scares the shit out of me. So.
Yeah.
Well, there you said that fact multiple times last season. At winter, at Christmas time, how far were they ahead of City?
They had a 10-point lead.
Yeah.
And then it became a 7-point lead, and then it became a 5-point lead, and then it became.
City's title.
There was someone
We're
actually.
champions. You happy?
I mean,
Interestingly-
Sadio and Salah aren't going away for AFCON, so we have them.
That's a huge boost. That's a huge
That is
boost
a huge
because
boost.
again, if Liverpool lead at Christmas again, they're still the only team in the last decade to have led at Christmas and not won the Premier League title. So I'm talking from this point, from today back until 2008, 2009, every single team that has led at Christmas has won the title at the end of the season. Be it City, be it Chelsea, be it United,
No, it's not 08-09 because we lost that one too.
and it's not that either.
Was that the Gerrard slip? No.
That was
20.
That was
08-09
14.
was
Chelsea.
That's 14, yeah.
Yeah,
08-09
12,
was
13.
different.
And then
What a
Dembaba,
gift.
Greatest
Yeah,
striker in the
Dembaba.
Oh
world.
yeah, Fernando Torres long hair.
So we don't know how it's gonna go. I mean, some people could say, like myself, it's part of their history, maybe that they choke. But the fact that they're 8-0 right now, they started like that last season, and they still won something at least. They still got a trophy. Which trophy that's gonna be now? Like which one's gonna shine? If it's Premier League or if it's Champions League, we don't know. But it's definitely that fear factor is there for sure. As far as like
we got it tough for the next few weeks. So.
yeah, as far as like maybe a score prediction.
Well, Eddie did say that they're not going for AFCON, but Liverpool do have the most minutes on their legs going into this game.
That's right.
So, I mean, I'm not taking away from Liverpool, though. Liverpool, I'm giving it 3-1.
3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah.
What you got, Eddie?
I give 3-0 hat trick to Mane.
Oh, shit.
Sim.
Picking up fantasy right now, captaining him.
Me? Oh, yeah. I'll say 2-0. 2-0.
I want to say Man United win, but I see a tie coming. I think it's gonna be 2-2 or 1-1, something in that zone.
Is that the fan in you, or is that?
That's the fan of me holding on to something.
I've been there. Trust me. I said Arsenal we're gonna attack
Yeah,
Liverpool too.
I'm waking up Sunday hoping. I'm praying to every good Lord in the sky.
I was gonna say a 1-1. I think a 1-1
Yeah.
because history aside from what Liverpool has done, going to Old Trafford has been historically difficult for them. Yes, the team that's waiting for them isn't the same as years past, but probably just being there is enough to motivate these guys, all these guys, to crank out some sort of result. So I think it's going to be a 1-1 stalemate. And I see Marco holding on to.
I know because he had it interrupted all day. So
Yeah,
like,
he's holding on
He
to.
hasn't been able to talk.
He's holding on to a mic because he wants to interrupt. Go ahead, Marco. What's your score prediction?
Y'all crazy. I'm going with Eddie a little bit more. I feel like it's gonna be like a 4 or 5-0.
Which one though? 4 or 5? Which
All
one?
right, I'll stick to 5-1.
5-1?
5-1. Who's scoring? So I know how to pick up in fantasy.
that -3 maybe. Firmino 1, Salah, or 2-2-1. Origi, I can see him come into and score that one last goal just to.
No,
Yo, my man wants to assassinate us, yo. You
Just put it out there.
stick the knife and turn it.
Doesn't mean that I want it. It just means that it might happen. And that's what I'm gonna rule for.
All right, so I guess that's it. We got a 5-1 from Marco, the wildest Liverpool United prediction I've ever heard in recent times.
It's gonna be a good game if that's the case.
Yes,
He did say Pepe was gonna be the leading goal scorer in the Prem.
hey, Ceballos is gonna get assist.
Ceballos the most assist.
Oh man, nice.
Marcus predictions.
Imagine they win 5-1. Oh my God.
Yo, stop, bro. Stop. That'd be nightmares, man.
Payback for Chelsea, please.
I'm
I'll
be
be
sick.
texting everybody that minute.
I'm gonna be sick. Well, thank you guys. Thank you to you, Rafa. Thank you, Andrew, for coming in, sharing with us your knowledge, especially these valuable nuggets that you've acquired over your time at Copa, teaching these kids, giving some of yourselves. I think that's kind of like I know a moment that deserves applause. You know, giving yourselves for these kids, motivating the youth in this country to pick it up, because you know with certain results, U.S. soccer is kind of slacking there, but. With you guys and listening to you speak, and hopefully for all of our listeners, these guys are probably a good chance to a bright future. So thank you again. I do want to shout out also Raphael Araujo, Mortgage Express on Instagram. He can make your home buying dreams come true. Make sure you hit him up. Nice little shout out for him. And speaking of shout outs, Eddie, where can everyone hear us?
Good. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts,
Spotify?
Spotify. That's the last one. And Benchwarmers FC.
Make sure you give us a like, a follow, and a comment on what you want to hear in future episodes at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Benchwarmers FC.
You got a mic.
I put it down.
Oh wait, Marco! I forgot Marco's not talking. But yeah,
I put it down. You go ahead.
Dang, now he puts the mic down. All right, so if you want to catch all our videos, especially our Red Bull Arena Matchday Tech Ball video, which is coming up soon, make sure you search us up on YouTube by searching Benchwarmers FC TV. And if you have any questions, especially anything for our halftime talks on Instagram Live, make sure you email us at benchwarmersfc.com. And when you get to any of our social media channels, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear from all of you guys, our listeners and our followers, people like you. Again, thank you guys. We really appreciate you guys being here.
what's up?
You mentioned tech ball. Play me tech ball. I'll play anybody.
Challenger.
That's a challenger?
Challenge.
That's like-
This
that's
is
like
Benchwarmers have fake stylers.
like Smash
Have fake
Bros?
stylers.
Like the Smash Bros new challenger approaches?
Oh,
You got Raphael there?
yeah,
What do you
keep going.
I might have somebody for you. So.
Whoa, all
See
right.
if he says yes first.
Make an
though.
event. Make an
Okay,
event.
yeah, we'll make an
Get
event.
that on video.
Well,
You saw my bicycle kicks already.
thank you everyone for listening. We are the Benchwarmers, the bench with a voice. And remember, the bench is always warm. Peace. Guys, that was phenomenal.
Dude, that
that
was
was
fun.
fun.
That was fun. That was fun. I can keep going all night. man. Let's go.
I could talk about it all day long.
Wait, I could keep going out rabbit hole. Every time he says something, I wanted to keep asking more questions about refereeing. I'm coaching, sorry, but
Coaching, yeah.
I just know we go past like 2 hours at
Yeah.
that point.
No,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Like